against someone you probably know well if you're a boxing fan, the veteran Rocky Juárez. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape now for Linares versus Juárez. Juárez is 30 years old, almost 6 years older than Linares, but there's a 3-inch height advantage for the Venezuelan fighter. Arm length advantage of 1 inch measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. They both weighed in well short of the 135-pound limit, signaling that perhaps Linares could make 130 again if at some point it were necessary for a big fight. And tonight, Linares enters at 143, the taller of the two fighters, Juárez at 140. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas, where tonight, Golden Boy Promotions with Marquez Promotions are proud to present an evening of world-class professional boxing for your entertainment live on HBO pay-per-view. Sponsored by Tecate, Cerveza con Carácter, AT&T Viva Mexico Plan. Make calls with your wireless phone to Mexico or from Mexico as if they were local calls. All bouts sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairwoman Pat Lundville, Executive Director Keith Kaiser, Commissioners Francisco Avilar, Skip Avancino, Bill Brady, and TJ Day. Physicians here at ringside tonight, Dr. James Game, Dr. Stephen Brown, Dr. Jay Coates, and Dr. Vicky Mazarana. Timekeepers at the bell and counting for the knockdown seconds, James Cavan and Ernie Howdegee. For this first bout, the 3 judges assigned to ringside will be Al Lefkowitz, Dave Moretti, and Ricardo Ocasio. And inside the ring, your referee in charge of the action, Russell Mora. And tonight's card of boxing is dedicated to the memory of Vic Siegel. On the line at this time, the vacant WBA Fedelatin title, 10 rounds of boxing in the lightweight division. Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white with gold, official weight 132 pounds. This 2000 Olympic silver medalist now has a professional record consisting of 28 victories, including 20 knockouts, with 6 defeats and 1 draw. From Northside, Houston, Texas, Ricardo Rocky Juárez. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with purple, officially weighing 132 1/2 pounds. His professional record, 28 victories, also including 18 knockouts with only 1 defeat. Originally from Venezuela, but now training and fighting out of Tokyo, Japan, former 2-time world champion, Jorge, El Niño de Oro, Linares.
Okay, line here is good, line here is good. Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want to remind you that I expect a clean fight. Protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times. Acuérdense, quiero una pelea limpia. Dios los bendiga, toquen guantes. God bless, touch up.
For Juárez, a chance to come through for the first time after 5 unsuccessful tries to win big fights of this nature. For Linares, a chance to get back onto the board as a quality prospect for big things in the sport. Kind of a win-or-go-home fight. And Emmanuel, I talked about my embarrassment at having anointed Linares the way I did 3 years ago. Now you're going to let me off the hook a little bit, I hope, by saying that I wasn't alone.
Well, you wasn't alone, but it happens in any sport. Well, at least it was like a one-punch situation. It wasn't where you had built him up to be a good fighter and a guy totally outclassed him. But just getting knocked out by one punch is not a major thing when you look at the overall picture. A lot of the fighters, it's happened to.
It's happened to Amir Khan, for instance. in exactly the same position that Linares found himself in. Khan has already managed to come back and develop some high-quality wins, including his beatdown of Paulie Malignaggi in New York a couple of months ago. But nobody's completely forgotten the loss to Prescott on behalf of Khan, just like nobody will completely forget what happened to Linares unless he puts together several years of high-quality work.
Well, if you put together a good string of victories, time will erase it. We look at Lennox Lewis, the one-punch knockout loss that he had, to Oliver McCall, also to Hasim Rockman. But in due time, people forgot those fights because he had good victories after that.
And he avenged both of those losses as well. Remains to be seen if Linares will ever face Juan Carlos Salgado again. Or if Khan will ever fight Prescott again, for that matter, though that's regarded as at least a possibility.
Yeah, but Prescott has been down so much since then, I don't think it's really a fight that was just for personal reasons that the public would demand.
Rocky Juarez has a new haircut here. And always, Rocky says he has a new plan, a new attitude, a new chance to do better than he's done before. He's gone back to his previous trainer from his early amateur days, Ray Ontiveros, after several years of working with Ronnie Shields.
Ray was very good with him. He knew him in the amateurs and was coaching with him. And so far, Rocky's fighting a very good fight. I think he's applying pressure. He hasn't got that perfect position that he looks for, and that's how he loses his fights. But at least he's applying a lot of pressure, trying to get in position.
Rocky is a notoriously slow starter, trying to start faster here tonight. And this is exactly the profile we expected. Rocky Juarez stalking and looking to land something big. Linares moving, looking to counterpunch and box.
And Linares is boxing and fighting very good, but I'm really impressed with Rocky Juarez at this stage. He's jabbing his way in, and it looked like he's trying to set up the left hook behind the left jab.
Straight right hand that time by Linares as Rocky began to come in. Juarez has been effective early on, trading jabs with the longer Linares. Got in a couple of bodies. Was snapped up out of Venezuela early in his career by the superstar promoter in Japan, Mr. Honda. Brought him to Tokyo, and Linares fought 18 of his first 23 professional fights in Japan. It was in Japan that he got knocked out by Salgado last year. And you heard Ray Ontiveros in Juarez's corner begin with about 15 seconds of Spanish and then follow it up with a long section of English. I'm not sure what it means that Ontiveros used both languages, Spanish and English, in communicating with Rocky. He's been listening to Ronnie Shields in English for as long as we can remember.
But I tell you what, Rocky can understand both. Being a Mexican-American, so maybe later on Ray thought about that as he was speaking in Spanish. Said, "What am I saying on this fight?" He can understand English just as well.
Or knowing that he's wearing our microphone,
yes, better for
perhaps
the
he wanted to say something that only those who speak Spanish could understand.
Now, stop. Now get him. Don't push his head down.
Both fighters seem to be very secure in understanding their roles in the fight. I mean, certainly Rocky isn't hesitant about being the stalker and trying to pressure Linares. And Linares, who has had some moments of discomfort in recent years, looks comfortable here, trying to back up and counterpunch against Juarez.
Both fighters very similar in style. Both have very good upper body movement, tight defense, very accurate pinpoint punches.
There's some moments of real intensity from Linares there. Solid left hook to the body.
Yeah, it looked like he got Juarez's attention there with that left hook to the body. Linares is really mixing up his attack. He's shot left hook to the outside, right hand to the outside, left uppercut between the gloves. See there, making it very difficult for Juarez to predict which way and where the punch is coming from.
And creating space, limiting Juarez's punch output. In the last 30 seconds, Linares has landed 6 or 7 solid blows. Rocky's only thrown twice.
Yeah, he's moving in, but he can't get off the punches because he's really trying to figure out what Linares is going to do.
jab seems to be getting sharper from minute to minute.
And you know, Juárez has a tendency to swell up around his eyes, and as the fight progresses, this could be a big factor in this fight, particularly those jabs and the left uppercuts. And uppercuts are glazing punches that often swell up the eyes because of the angle that they land.
Time!
Juárez, 15 out of 70. Linares with a 24-5 advantage in landed punches in the second round.
And what makes that percentage even more amazing is the fact that Juárez has his hands up. He's never dropped his hand, and he has a pretty good defense. And it's very difficult to find a way to get a punch through normally when a guy's fighting that way.
Harold, how did you score it in the first 2 rounds?
Okay, Jim. 20-18, 2 rounds to nothing. Jorge Linares. You know, Jim, he's landing the cleaner, hard-up shots, and that's all he was doing. Even though he's backing up,
heads,
he's
guys.
really landed the good power shots. Rocky Juárez moving in, he's the aggressor. But one thing I noticed about Linares, look at this. He opens the glove when Juárez gets close, and he pushes him off. And that's really an illegal move. You can't do that. You're not even supposed to measure the guy, let alone open the glove and push him off. Linares real slick at it. Russell Mora hasn't seen it yet. 2-0, Linares.
Interestingly, you made the same point about Linares 3 years ago, Harold, and you pointed out that Oscar De La Hoya got away with that move very frequently in his early career. And of course, Linares, because of his style, is often compared to Oscar De La Hoya. Even in Venezuela, has been nicknamed El Niño de Oro. People should be careful about borrowing that nickname. Again, the right-hand body shot by Linares, and he goes back to the jab. I thought Rayon Taveros gave Rocky exactly the right advice, Emmanuel, when he said, you're not throwing combinations.
It's not that easy because every time he gets in position, he has automatically his mind has to go into a defensive mode.
Let him go. Stop! Watch it. Don't push him down, and don't give him a straight arm. Let's go.
Well, the possible silver lining here for Rocky is that by far his best punch, when he gets going, is that left hook. And it was a left hook that put Linares down in Tokyo last year. Clearly, Rocky is hoping to land another big one here tonight.
Even though I have Rocky trailing in the scoring right now, I think he's fighting a fantastic fight.
In his last outing, Juárez probably suffered his most discouraging result yet, as he fought fringe contender Jason Litzau and wound up losing a technical draw because Litzau was badly cut under his left eye by what the officials ruled had been a headbutt. Juárez says he thinks it was a punch, but the fact was Rocky was trailing on the scorecards at that point in the fight and therefore wound up with a 7th round technical loss. Given the quality of the other fighters to have beaten him, probably this was the biggest disappointment yet.
Well, I think he's fought for, this will make his 5th fight, I think, for a world title fight. Sixth, and has never been successful.
There's no title here, but the next title fight will be his 6th chance at a world title. And never succeeded.
Yeah, and this fight right here is a very important fight to get in that position.
Let go. Let go. Time!
22 out of 110, 38%, an extremely high connect percentage on the jab. Juárez, 12 out of 60. Not bad for Rocky.
Both guys are very accurate punches, very crisp punches. And, you know, as the fight goes on, it's going to be interesting to see if either one of these guys starts looping their punches or become more sloppy with their punches, because the punches are very sharp and accurate at this stage.
Now Juárez gets a momentary chance with Linares trapped in his back against the ropes, but Linares steps away to the left and begins countering again.
Linares is a very cagey fighter, and you see he executes one of the most beautiful combinations in boxing. He throw a left hook to the outside of the body and to make Juárez drop move his elbow, and then he bring his left uppercut through the center, the same hand.
A combination favored by Mike Tyson among other great uppercutters. Juan Manuel Marquez can throw that combination.
Yes, he can.
uppercut by Linares.
I am so impressed with this man. He is such a beautiful boxer. He's doing everything. He's boxing with his jab. He's moving, but not moving too fast.
Don't fall in love with the fighter.
Juárez, but Juárez is not pushing him faster than he wants to.
This is the trouble. Linares, when he's on, is mesmerizing because he has such sophisticated skill.
Beautiful movement. Very, very, very impressive.
Every once in a while, Emmanuel, I'll still run into an American fight fan who'll say, how could you score such and such a round for a guy who's moving backward all the time? Shouldn't the scores favor the guy who's going forward? And, of course, if you say that, you're misunderstanding fundamentally what it is that a counterpuncher tries to do.
Yeah, it's actually landing clean blows. You look at some of your greatest boxers in history. You take away Mike Tyson for the most part. You look at Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, a lot of those fighters. Ray Robinson.
We're going backward most of the time.
Yeah, but they landed clean punches.
Here's Juárez.
Just like the left uppercut
Linares
that
against the
Linares
ropes.
is landing there now.
And Linares shows some fight of his own against the ropes with those uppercuts. And Rocky stays in there. CompuBox numbers through the first 4 rounds show Jorge Linares landing more than 20 punches per round. That's a lot of leather. Both fighters' faces have held up so far, but if they keep landing the way they are, sooner or later somebody's going to cut.
Well, that last exchange reminded me a lot of one of the exchanges between Diaz and Marquez, where Diaz was physically pushing Marquez into the ropes, and it looks like he was having the better of it, but the clean punches, particularly up between the center, was coming from Linares in this case, much like Marquez did in the fight with Diaz the last time.
Very much. Double jab, Linares moves to his left. Juárez has a chance to try to trap him in the corner, but doesn't step up quickly enough. Now he's got him.
Let's see, every time he gets there, that little left uppercut comes between, and then he goes right back to moving and pushing the jab out.
One uppercut, step away.
Just when he can feel that Juárez is going to go into his little bend down, he'll shoot the left uppercut. He seems to have a good rhythm and timing of it. Juárez has got to find some way to get close enough to shoot this left hook. And he still has one of the best left hooks in boxing. And that's what he's going to have to depend on in this fight. Because right now he's gradually falling behind as the fight moves on.
When all is said and done, and unless he can turn this one around, we may look back and say that Rocky Juárez's most dramatic and fulfilling night ever on HBO in terms of performance was the night that he lost to Juan Manuel Marquez in his first fight against Marquez in Staples Center in Los Angeles, a fight that was originally ruled a draw. Scorecards were later changed to show a Barrera victory. A lot of people thought that Juárez had reeled the great Barrera in down the stretch with a stirring display of left hooks. And then a lot of people thought he could win the rematch against Barrera, and he barely showed up.
And it's amazing, as we're speaking, he's fighting maybe the best that he's fought tonight in this fight, just the last few seconds. He's come moving in, is seemingly getting a little bit of a range on his punches now for the first time. And I would say this, even Linares, I think, is winning the fight, and I'm very impressed.
And he just asserted himself again.
Rocky is putting a lot of pressure and fighting a fantastic fight himself.
But Linares is still landing the more accurate and sharper blows. And somewhat effortlessly so. There's a good jab by Juárez.
That left uppercut again. They didn't see it.
4, 5.
First knockdown of the fight.
7.
I mentioned coming into the round that Juárez was eating a lot of leather.
Time.
And Rocky is still stiff-legged, walking as though he may have hurt a knee during the fall.
Got caught.
Round 6 begins. Harold, how do you have it through 5?
Okay, Jim. 50-44, 5 rounds to nothing. Jorge Linares. Jim, I got to tell you, it's amazing. You know, he's the sharper, cleaner puncher. Mora won them in round 3 for pushing off with that open left hand, and he went right back to doing it in the 3rd round. It's just absolutely keeps him off with that open left hand, just like he did right there. Be as it may, Jorge Linares landing much harder, sharper shots, winning every round, shutting him out. 5-0 Linares.
And this despite the fact, Emmanuel, that as you keep asserting, you see energy from Juarez, you see a plan, you see him fighting well.
But I see Juarez back in that back for the first time. Linares has taken control over the fight and actually is making Rocky back away. I think the accumulation of the variety of punches and the just overall skill of Linares is starting to take its effect on Rocky now.
Here's a hard right hand by Juarez. He caught Linares at the end of a long punch. See if that'll lift Rocky's spirits a little bit and bring more energy. Now he starts going forward and stalking again. Up to that moment, he was, as Emmanuel Stewart pointed out, going backward in this round. Excellent jab, excellent left uppercut.
You know, Linares must have really did his homework on fighting with Juarez. Juarez, coming from Houston, similar to Diaz, they both fight with their feet, you know, head bent forward very much over the left foot, and they're very vulnerable for uppercuts. And I think he studied him very well. He'll box to a certain degree, and then he'll shoot the left uppercut.
Does former American Olympic coach Kenny Adams still work with Jorge Linares?
No, he did work with him, but I understand he's not working with him for this fight. He was with him most of the early part of his career.
He's another boxing source who has enormous enthusiasm about Linares and hasn't surrendered it despite the knockout loss last year. Well, other than the one right hand by Juarez, this is a dominating round for Linares. Linares keeping that right hand up to the side of his face in these exchanges to try to make certain that Juarez doesn't land a crushing left hook. Bring wars. He says, I'm as good as ever, and I'll prove it tonight against Diaz. Linares averaging 18 connected punches per round. Juarez averaging 7 connected punches per round as we bring you to the 7th. Harold Letterman so far has a shutout for Linares, and he did knock Juarez down in the 5th.
No holding.
Linares steps back and once again lands that left uppercut. That has
it's
truly been the money punch in the arsenal of night.
I was just going to say that, Jim. Right now, Juarez have not been able to find any signature punch, so to say, in this fight, even though he's moving forward. Linares has had 2 signature punches, the jab and the left uppercut. He's been extremely effective and accurate with both of those punches.
Suerte, Linares.
When you teach uppercuts in the gym, Emmanuel, do most guys have a naturally stronger hand for the uppercut?
Yes, but the left uppercut is just in recent years has become very popular. It used to be everything was an uppercut was a right uppercut, either a left hook. But the left uppercut is a very effective punch because so many of the fighters today fight with their hands on the side of their face, leaving that big void through the center. And when you start a jab and then you change it up with a left uppercut with the same hand, it's very easy to hit a lot of fighters.
Some people have to square up to throw an uppercut. Linares can throw it from his natural boxing stance.
He throws it from the same stance and the same rhythm of throwing the jab. He jab, and he shoots a left uppercut just as easily. But I think he's really worked on that for this particular fighter, and it's very effective.
Hard right hand by Linares. Pot shot.
Yes, one of the first right hands that he's landed tonight.
So he mixes it in one more time.
That's another problem now that Juarez is going to have to worry about. If he didn't have enough problems with the jabs and left uppercuts, and now sneaky right hand coming in.
And by the way, the best way to set up that left uppercut, land a right hand. Or throw the jab first and then bring it right behind it, as you pointed out earlier.
LINARES is being put to a test tonight, though, even though I feel he's winning. But like I said, Rocky's fighting a very good fight, a lot of pressure. And you still got to watch out for Rocky's left hook. He can never relax. As soon as they get close, you notice LINARES puts that right hand right on the side of his face when he sees that Rocky gets in range to land a left hook.
Hard right hand again by LINARES over the top.
Time.
7 rounds complete. Right now, the 140-pound. CombiBox numbers on power punches through round 7. LINARES 61 of 107, 57%. Juarez 29 of 159, 18%. Of course, you only need to land one big one. And Juarez remains determined. But so far, LINARES has more or less had his way in the fight. Belly shot there by Rocky Juarez.
Let go, let go. Don't pull his head down. Don't pull his head down. Suéltalo.
There's a hand speed difference, and LINARES is using it.
You can look at that about the 9 punches. They were all from such a different variety of punches from different angles. And that's what's making it so difficult for Juarez to get a punch off. He has to start figuring out how to block those punches before he can punch back. What he's got to do, if he's going to win this fight, he's going to have to let punches go and quit being too intelligent, because he's systematically losing anyway. But he needs to let punches go. 2, 3, 4, 5 shots. He is a good puncher himself.
Crowd cheered as Juarez finally landed a right hand.
Watch your heads. Cuidado cabeza.
Juarez's face is beginning to show the effects of the large number of punches LINARES is landing.
Yeah, the jabs and the left uppercuts.
But so far, the skin is held up. No cuts for either fighter.
Let go.
No big change. Beginning of round 9 of a scheduled 10. Harold, how do you have it through 8?
Okay, Jim. 8 runs to nothing. 80-71. Jorge LINARES. Jim, the guy is winning every round with clean, effective shots. But, you know, he's really not a fan-friendly fighter. As skilled as he is, that running away constantly, that moving to the left all the time, you know, he doesn't bring on any crowd noise that he'll cheer for him because of the fact that he's constantly moving, you know, doesn't stand still. You only have to wonder how good he would be if he would step forward and shoot a hard right hand. I mean, I think he would be tremendous if he'd move forward once in a while. Be as it may, 8-0, Jorge LINARES.
My view is he's taking no chances here, and he cannot afford to take any chances.
No,
he has to win this fight.
Yeah, Rocky is a very good puncher still, and I think that Linares may not be exactly the type of a fight that will get the fans excited, but I think he's fighting a perfect fight. And any lesser opponent than Rocky, he would have probably have knocked out by now with the shots he's landed.
And incidentally, we're into the pay-per-view card. We're 3 fights away from the main event. And while Harold may refer to the notion of a crowd, they're about 1/3 here. So if they wanted to boo Linares, he could just as soon turn around and boo them. Or boo the empty seats anyway.
Go.
Now, the people who are here deserve credit. They don't deserve to be booed, but the bottom line is there are a lot of empty seats.
Rocky has opportunities to punch a lot, but he gets to his opponents and he likes to wait till they punch before he punches, and that's his big mistake. And he should have learned that by now with all those long right hand right there. That's what he throw the shot off.
Crowd goes nuts as Juárez finally lands a long right hand.
But there's been opportunities for him to continue to be right there. He hesitates too much. He gets there and he bends into a little squat, and then he wants to punch. And he just let his punches go right away. Right there again.
2 sharp uppercuts from Linares in that sequence. Rocky's determination carried him through them, but Linares is still landing accurately when he tries to.
Both guys are in great condition.
Incidentally, you've got 2 very inexperienced judges judging this fight, along with true veteran Dave Moretti. If judges are looking for a courtesy round to give to Juárez, maybe this is it.
And if you check this, you'll probably find out that his punch output was better this round. It's really a simple case of him not punching. Good right hand again. That's the same shot that he could have done earlier, but he would get there and squat first and then try to punch.
69 of 480. Rocky Juárez, less than half of that. Only 71 landed punches out of 400 thrown. Harold Letterman gave the 9th round to Juárez, as I might have thought could be the case. And now here comes the 10th. You heard what Rayon Taveras said to Rocky Juárez: give me everything you've got. Don't bring anything back to the dressing room. And Linares' corner said, we want to see your heart. Let's see if Juárez can make him show his heart. 2 good jabs from Linares there. Still in command of the space. Good hard jab by Juárez there. Linares seems quite conscious of the fact that Rocky is getting closer and making better contact. Land the right hand lands for Juárez. Don't know whether Linares has gotten tired or his concentration has wavered. There's the heart. Linares fighting his way off the ropes.
In front.
It would be very interesting to see if this fight was scheduled for 12 rounds. What would happen? In the next 2 rounds?
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Especially it seems that Juárez has found a way to land those right hands.
Yeah, he's making Linares uncomfortable, and Linares is showing the discomfort. But again, when Linares chooses to reestablish command of his punches and throw the jab, the uppercut, the right hand, he's landing them still. Like that. Well, I think we can be fairly certain of how Dave Moretti will have scored the bout. not sure what we can expect from the judges. We do not know. Al Lefkowitz and Ricardo Ocasio.
And at this stage, Juárez has landed probably about 75% of his right hands in the last round when he threw them.
Same kind of regular. Let's go to Michael Buffer and find out who won.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 exciting rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Dave Moretti, 99-90. Al Lefkowitz, 97-92. Ricardo Ocasio, 99-90. All to the winner by unanimous decision. Jorge, El Niño de Oro Linares.